Today on BBC Radio 1 we have the main actor Adam Richardson, fresh from the film Disengaged, here to fill us in on the making of the film. All the way from London, he's here today to brief us on the construction of the film and, more importantly, how your views influence the production. Hi Adam, how are you doing?
Hi Amber, yeah, I'm okay thanks, in the middle of the aftermath work of focusing on press coverage about the film. So as you can guess, I'm quite exhausted.
Yes, I can imagine. It's a pleasure to have you here. I bet you're in high demand. So to start things off, how did you find the making of the film? Did you find it easy to film or was it exhausting as the aftermath?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think people realise how tiring and complex the filming of the production actually is. It's so time consuming too. In order to get it to the director's expectations and to correlate with the target audience's interests, yeah, it's all so tiring, to say the least. I mean, the main factor was to make it as entertaining as possible and obviously for our audience to enjoy it. It was obviously significant too for the actors to perform to the best of our potentials.
Yeah.
But I think the hardest part was the construction of the plot and its development, which was heavily based on audience feedback.
Oh right, so how was your film altered by the feedback given? In fact, what was the feedback like in general that you got?
Well, we had a lot of mixed views from the first screening, and quite a lot of them were negative too, which of course is much to be expected, but it did come as quite a blow.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, but we tried to take it in a positive light in order to alter the film and benefit the production.
Of course.
It allowed us to pick up on all the factors in which we were negatively viewed in the initial plot, and the original plot was actually quite different from the final outcome.
Oh right.
We took the audience views very seriously and reacted to them in quite a drastic way. At one point, there was a time when we changed the plot almost completely on behalf of the audience feedback we got.
Really? How was it different to the first part, the second part?
Honestly, it was a completely different film. I mean, part of the framework is still there, but most of the content was completely wiped and rewritten. We started off with a film called Shared Accommodation, which consisted of a man living at home, going through all the strains of work life, like Daniel in Disengaged. He too was being mentally disintegrated by the occurrences of his home life, only it wasn't his apparent girlfriend who was in his home and in his mind. It was an elderly lady who was living in the same house as him, and it was driving him mad. Like, throughout the film, there were scenes where the two characters were closely meeting, yet they didn't actually meet until the end of the plot, and that's where you got the closure. He believed he was going crazy, and that he was just imagining the noises and the happenings and the movements of the objects around the house. Yet once he met the lady who was sharing this accommodation with him, it was left on a cliffhanger that what he did when he was confronting the lady.
Right.
Yeah, I know, confusing to even put it into words, I think. I'm struggling here. As much as the producers tried to put it into the images of the film, it still left the audience confused with the contents, and a lot of it was misunderstood, unfortunately.
So, how did the audiences react to the film and what feedback did they supply for you?
Though there were several positive remarks, the majority explained that they found the film complex and difficult to grasp. They clarified how the whole story was quite unusual and obviously wasn't a very realistic situation, though it has happened in reality before. That was one of the things we had to research. So from those comments, the producers addressed these comments and decided that, like the feedback suggested, there was a lot to change in the film in order to make it more believable and understandable. Despite this, the film was rated an average of 7 out of 10 on the original screening, which of course wasn't too daunting, yet was below the director's expectations, and so the drastic decision to change the storyline instead of making small changes went ahead.
So how did you actually change the storyline? Was it as time-consuming progress? I could imagine it was.
No, actually, I think the changes came quite quickly. We knew what we needed to do, and with the help of the audience feedback, we were all able to notice what needed to change. And once the directors put their heads together and brainstormed ideas, we were able to agree on a suitable, quite similar plot that didn't change a lot of the aspects.
Wow, I didn't realise how much work went into the film and how many changes were made before the final cut.
Yeah, I mean, without becoming unprofessional, I think one of the strategies used in the creation of the film plot was trial and error. Making a plot and seeing if it worked, and then if it didn't, altering it and trying again. It was very fun though, and I don't think the audience is given enough gratitude. Without their initial criticism and compliments, Matt Cat wouldn't have been rewarded with such good star ratings and coverage.
So the star of the show was the viewers themselves.
Indeed. They were our main priority throughout the production, gave great guidance throughout the filmmaking process, and were massive support throughout the release of the film.
Fabulous. Well, it's been great having you here, Adam, and I'm sure we'll all hear from you soon in your next production.
Thanks, bye.